All right, we are here. It is unboxing day, and we've got two pair of boots we've been looking forward to quite some time.
I've been wanting to add these to my collection forever. One of my favorite brands. I've been eyeballing them for the longest time. They come out with awesome makeups, and so I just had to jump on this pair and get it, not checked off my list.
Yep.
So what we got here is we got a pair of Trumans in a Prairie Rambler, right?
Prairie Rambler.
Right? The
That's
Prairie
it.
Rambler. Awesome. Has some great texture, some great qualities to it. And then we have a pair of Nicks. And this is what leather?
It's the Falcon in that Predator orange color. A boot that I've been wanting to knock off my list for quite some time, and I'm so excited.
I'm not going to lie, those are on my list as well.
And those are on mine,
jealous.
so I mean, you really can't go wrong with either brand, both from the Pacific Northwest. Both are highly sought after
Now
boots.
these are from Spokane, Washington, and I believe these are now in Oregon. I think they started out in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
They were in Boulder, Colorado for a
Yep.
long time, but I think recently, the last I read, they're now in Oregon. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This boot company's only been around since 2014.
Really?
So
Okay.
to have been around such a short period of time and to be such a highly sought after and well respected boot, that's really impressive. Nicks has been around for a long time. Red Wings, Allen Edmonds, these are all companies we've known forever. White's, that's up in the Pacific Northwest as well, actually in Spokane as well. Crazy how how quickly this boot company has come along, and there are a lot of similarities between these two boots. I mean, what's your first reaction? The differences, the similarities. What's your ideas about these two boots?
So they're definitely both stitched out construction, as opposed to just a regular Goodyear construction. I don't want to say that one benefits over the other because they both have qualities of their own. I do like this stitched out construction. It just gives a really cool rugged look. Like these boots are going to last a really long time. It's got that double row of stitching on there, and it's just a stout, good, heavy boot.
Now, when you do a stitch down construction, do most of them usually have that double row of stitches, or do you sometimes see a single row as well?
Most of them have the double row, but yeah, you do sometimes still see a single row of stitching. Really all it is that upper kind of comes down and then turns out, and then that's stitched down to the midsole. But what's really unique about stitched out construction is you can't see it from the outside of the boot, but inside of the boot they have this Blake stitch that stitches that midsole to that footbed.
Right.
So over time, whereas in a Goodyear welt you have a gemming that can come loose, you can lose a little bit of shape of the boot. You're not going to have that with this. So that is one plus side to a stitched on construction versus a standard Goodyear welt.
Now, when they do that Blake stitch, when they're constructing the boot initially, I know that, like you said, when you've got that 360 welt, sometimes you'll have a gemming, and that's what it'll be stitched to, so you've got that structure because that gemming's held to the inner sole of the boot.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like say in an Alden, you'll see that canvas running across the bottom, kind of holds that together
keeps it
so you can put
together.
the sole and everything on. What is kind of holding that structure together when you're first putting that midsole onto the boot, or is anything?
The midsole is. I mean, everything is tacked and pegged to that midsole. That's the nice thing about these is, it's all leather midsoles. You don't have any kind of Texon paper or foam or any of that stuff. It's leather through and through. So everything is just tight and stout and will remain that way for a long time, which is really, really exciting, as gorgeous as these boots are.
So when you have like gemming and even the canvas, now usually you have a time you'll have that cork filler and stuff in there. Do you have that in these types of things, or are these just straight leather
You
through?
still do. Depends on the model of
Sure,
boot.
sure.
of
And we
course.
can't know until we break these things
Yeah,
apart.
I've only done a handful of both of these brands since they're a little bit more rare than some of these other brands.
Especially down here in the south.
Especially down here. I know that a lot of them don't have any kind of filler to them, and it's just layers of leather,
Right.
which is just as comfortable. It breaks in, it forms to your foot, and will be comfortable for years to come. Whereas cork can compress, it can break down, it can crumble.
I mean, pretty much anytime we do a recraft, I mean,
We gut
old
it all
cork's
out,
coming
put it
out, new
back in.
cork's
Yeah.
going in. So, I mean, you
I'm
really
excited
don't have
to
that
gut into these someday. I don't want to do it right now. These things are my babies at this moment. But one of these days when I get to resole them, we'll make a video on it and see what's inside. Or if I have some, or if anybody watching wants to send in some for a recraft.
Send us some Nicks, send us some Trumans. We will recraft them and see, what's under the hood.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Now,
some of the other differences, I do like that these have a pull tab. I'm a pull tab fan. I like having pull tabs on on my boots, it makes it a lot easier to slip them on. This does have a nice rolled hem on the top of it, where this is just kind of a
just
raw,
the edge of the leather.
Yeah. So that's nice. This is what, 8-inch boot. This is probably a 6-inch boot,
That's
so it's a little bit taller. So that rolled edge will be nice on your ankles and skin. So that's cool.
Now, one thing I am noticing between the two of them is while they both have that double row stitching, both have the stitch down process, but this one has a lot more of a robust welt to it, and thus, like, I'm thinking on a
bigger stitch length, and it looks like a little bit thicker of a thread. And
with the stitch down construction, I feel like people have to be really careful about who recrafts their boots because of that. I mean, you do a Goodyear welt to 360 welt, you can get a new welt as long, and you know, you can chew up a welt and get a new one on there, and you're not actually decreasing the integrity of that upper of the boot. But on stitch down process, it seems like you've got to be much more careful.
You do. So while it is still a much more robust and structurally sound boot than you know, some of these other more manufactured boots, there are some downsides to getting them recrafted over time. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I don't really see, you know, a huge difference in quality between the two.
No.
I mean, for these, what are these new? These are what?
About $540 for these, and they are a taller boot. So really, honestly, to me, this is a more comparison to the Upland that is in that $510 plus dollar range. So it's really in that close range. Whereas this Rambler right here, you know, if you look at it on its profile, it's not crazy dissimilar from the style you'll see from an Iron Ranger, while you know, the Iron Ranger is a taller boot, and I mean, this thing has all the character in the world, and Iron Rangers, you got to build that character, you got to earn that character. But they're just two different kind of boots. So they're in that same kind of price range, especially when you get into Upland Height, which is the 8-inch boot, I believe.
And honestly, I think it's worth it. I think for that you know, higher price point than, say, you know, your Red Wings or your Wolverines. I mean, you get so much more boot for the price. You really get what you pay for when it comes to shopping for boots, and I love that. Yeah,
I mean, you know, one of the things I noticed, like out the gate, I pick these things up and I have to check if there's shoe trees in here because I'm not sure. They're so rugged and heavy. Now, these are a little lighter, and that's also really nice. I'm not going to lie, I tried one on and tried the other on, even though they're yours. Thankfully for us,
we're the same size, boot. So I may actually, you know, take these. I'll trade you these for, say, my Wolverine 1,000 miles. No, not a fair trade. Okay.
But yeah, these things, in love with, two of the most sought after boots out there on the market. Can't wait to do a boot history dive into each one, especially, you know, such a new company, really excited about everything they've got going on. And Nicks, you know, Nicks is a tried and true company, been out there forever. This is their heritage line, but they, you know, they have amazing logger boots and just workhorse boots, and you can see that the construction really, like, it comes over into those lifestyle boots as well.
Absolutely.
And Truman, even as new of a company as they are, you can see absolutely that they take, you know, every meticulous detail, you know, in consideration when they're crafting these boots. Are there any more, like, you know, initial impressions that you've got besides wanting to get out there and walk around in these beautiful boots?
Honestly, yeah, I just want to throw these things on and go new boot goofing around town. I mean, I feel like I can dress these up or dress them down.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't matter. These things are just gorgeous, and I'm excited to get into them. So
now, one thing I think I'm going to do, or I'm going to get you to do, is while I love the way this boot looks, I actually think I'm going to get you to, like, give a nice little sand to this right here, and I'd like to antique that leather edge.
That'd be nice.
It would match that more natural welt that I've got, and I think it would complement
something
the color
similar
of this.
To what comes on that Truman, or say these Mark Alberts that has more of a natural edge to it. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing I think I'll add on mine. Another thing that I thought was really cool about the Nicks boot, and you can get these definitely on Truman, because I've, you know, done 2 o'clock in the morning boot building on Truman's website before. But the contrasting brown tongue that you've got on here, you can definitely do that, especially on the made-to-order Trumans. So if you're getting like the green or blues or even like certain browns, you can get different color tongues. That's really cool.
That is one thing that I do like about these two companies is, you know, they have those options for customization. You can pick your leathers, you can pick your colors. That's a really cool thing about having boots made to order.
Yep. Yep, highly customizable, but also kind of like keep it within that purview of what they know is going to be good and good looking.
And clearly, they know their stuff.
They know their stuff. I mean, yeah, can't gab about this enough.
Well, that wraps that up. We are excited for our new boots. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you guys have any of these boots that you want to see get recrafted and you want to see what's inside, we'd love to do it. Send it our way.
This is the Nicks Falcon and the Truman Rambler. Two great boots. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll put out some, after we've worn them in videos a little bit, and hopefully we'll get some recrafts way down the line. But yeah.
So here's some cool shots of us wearing them.
Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. For more premium boot content, be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Hit that like, comment, and
Catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one.
Rambler. 3 payments. Oh, new boot goofing.